Hi there, my name is Ashley Jolin. You may remember me as a former Utah Democratic candidate for Utah's 2nd Congressional District. But today, I'm here to talk to you about Kael Weston and why I chose to support Kael. Kael is someone who knows how, when everything seems to be falling apart, to hold it all together. As a former State Department representative, Kael was responsible for rebuilding Fallujah's government and infrastructure. That's what we need here, to rebuild and repair, here and abroad. Kael's top priorities include healthcare, the economy, and engaging the international community on climate. Those were my top issues as well, because those are your top issues. Kael and I believe that strength is in unity, working together. That's why I'm here today sharing our message and asking for your support for Weston for Utah's 2nd Congressional District.
Hello, my name's Kael Weston. I'm seeking the Democratic nomination in the 2nd Congressional District, and I'm grateful, delegates, that you're able to spend a few minutes with me. Wish we could do this in person, but of course, given the situation in your country, we're going to do the best we can through video. So who am I and why am I running? The first question is, I'm a native Utahn. Spent a lot of time in this state before going away to represent our country in the State Department. I'm a graduate of the University of Utah, just over my shoulder. Spent a lot of time in our mountains and deserts, and I'm very happy to be back after leaving my job in the State Department. But my first jobs were working at Dairy Queen and cleaning public toilets in a public park. And I usually say that because they're not the official part of my biography, but those jobs taught me a lot about what hard work means and also what it means to make $3 an hour. After leaving Utah, I studied abroad in the UK as well as in the Netherlands. I was a Fulbright scholar where I spent some time looking at international relations, and then I found myself inside the State Department in New York on the Al-Qaeda Taliban Sanctions Committee. And then when the Iraq War started, which I opposed, I was a civilian working with our military in Baghdad and Fallujah. I also spent a lot of time trying to build the city after the biggest battle of the Iraq War. And rather than go into all those details, I'll say I wrote a book, and it's a big, thick book about my time in the wars, but those wars taught me a lot about what good or bad policy does, and bad policy gets people killed. And I think that's true today when we've had a dysfunctional government fail us on the issue of public health. So what are the issues that guide our campaign? The first is better neighbors. What does better neighbors mean? Better neighbors means that not only in a time of crisis, but before a crisis, we look down our street and say, if my neighbor doesn't have health care, that's wrong. It's a value that we share as Democrats, and it affects all of us. That's what better neighbors means. The second theme is country over party. Of course, that's pretty straightforward, and what Chris Stewart has done for 6 years is put his party, the failing GOP, that Trump hijacked, ahead of the national interest, and I can promise you that I will never do that. Urgency is where we are right now. It's not only a presidential election year, but we've got a public health crisis, I think, that requires people with serious experience that meet the serious times. Sometimes people tell me, Kael, you're so serious, and usually I'd shrug my shoulders and say, a lot of time in the war zones kind of make you pretty serious, but I think the times today demand a serious candidate and serious leadership for serious times, and I think if you support me, that's what you're going to get. One final story from the wars, and that is, we used to go into meetings with the mayors and the governors, and they used to say, you Americans come in with your green notebooks, and you scribble in your notebooks, and then you leave, and that's it. And so what I started to tell them, and it was a genuine thing I would say, is I always keep the promises I make, which is why I don't make very many. So what I'm going to promise you here today, March 27, 2020, is that if you'll support me for this nomination, I will work very hard to make you proud, to make sure that Chris Stewart's held accountable, and that we win in November. You can always reach me through the website at my direct email address, kael@westonforcongress.com. Look forward to hearing from more of you, meeting more of you when we can. And again, I promise you I will work hard to win this election and to help get our government back on track. If anything, these are the times that we need serious leadership. Thank you.